Ethan stood at the podium, the applause washing over him. He had done it. Years of hard work had culminated in this moment. His company was thriving. He had a beautiful family. Life was perfect. Ethan looked out at the smiling faces, his heart full of pride and gratitude. This was his peak, the pinnacle of his success. He had everything he ever wanted. The future seemed limitless, filled with promise and opportunity. For Ethan, this was just the beginning of a life well lived. Ethan basked in the warmth of his accomplishment. He had built his business from the ground up. He had a loving wife and 2 wonderful children. Life was good, better than he could have ever imagined. As he stepped down from the podium, he felt invincible on top of the world. His success was a testament to his hard work, his dedication, and his unwavering belief in himself. This was his time, his moment in the sun. However, beneath the surface of Ethan's success lay a hidden truth. He had started cutting corners in his pursuit of wealth. The pressure to maintain his lavish lifestyle had led him down a slippery slope. At first, it was just small indiscretions, minor ethical breaches that he justified as necessary evils. But slowly, these small compromises chipped away at his integrity, eroding the foundation of his success. He didn't realize it then, but the seeds of his downfall were already being sown. The applause faded, and Ethan stepped away from the spotlight. The weight of his hidden truth pressed down on him. He smiled, but the joy felt hollow. The guilt gnawed at him, a constant reminder of the path he was on. He pushed these thoughts aside, focusing on the cheers and the congratulations. He told himself it would be all right, that he had everything under control. But deep down, a seed of doubt had been planted, and it was beginning to grow. Ethan's world began to crumble around him. The shortcuts he had taken caught up with him. News of his unethical business practices spread like wildfire. His reputation, once his most prized possession, was tarnished. Investors pulled out, and his company spiraled towards bankruptcy. The life he had built, the success he had so carefully crafted, was collapsing like a house of cards. The consequences of his actions were swift and brutal. His company filed for bankruptcy, and he lost everything. His once pristine reputation was in tatters. The business community, which had once lauded him as a visionary, now shunned him. He was a pariah, an example of how quickly success could turn to failure. The weight of his mistakes pressed down on him, threatening to crush him. His personal life suffered a similar fate. The strain of his financial ruin and public humiliation proved too much for his marriage. His wife, once his rock, couldn't bear the shame and the betrayal. She took their children and left, leaving Ethan alone to face the consequences of his actions. The home that had once been filled with laughter and love was now empty, echoing with the ghosts of his past. Ethan found himself utterly alone, stripped of his wealth, his family, and his dignity. He had hit rock bottom, his life a testament to the devastating consequences of poor choices. Despair consumed him, leaving him lost and broken. The man who had once stood confidently at the peak of success was now a shadow of his former self, haunted by the wreckage of his past. His story, once a tale of ambition and achievement, had become a cautionary one, a stark reminder that the path to ruin is often paved with good intentions gone astray. One rainy afternoon, Ethan found himself at a local park, seeking solace in the solitude. Sitting on a bench, he watched children play, their laughter a painful reminder of what he had lost. Lost in his despair, he didn't notice the old man who sat beside him. The man with his kind eyes and gentle demeanor seemed unfazed by Ethan's despondency. He introduced himself as Arthur, a retired teacher and a regular visitor to the park. Ethan, initially hesitant, found himself drawn to Arthur's calm presence. Arthur listened patiently as Ethan poured out his story, his regrets, and his despair. He didn't judge or offer platitudes. He simply listened, his silence speaking volumes. Arthur's quiet understanding was a balm to Ethan's wounded soul. For the first time since his downfall, Ethan felt a glimmer of hope. Perhaps there was a way out of the abyss he had fallen into. Arthur, with his years of wisdom, saw a spark of goodness still flickering within Ethan. He recognized that Ethan's mistakes, however grave, didn't define him. He saw a man burdened by guilt, desperate for redemption. Arthur believed everyone deserved a second chance, a chance to rise from their ashes and rebuild their lives. He saw this opportunity in Ethan, a chance to guide him back from the brink and show him the path to redemption. Over the next few weeks, Arthur and Ethan met regularly at the park. Arthur shared his wisdom, drawn from a life filled with its own share of triumphs and tribulations. He taught Ethan the importance of taking responsibility for his actions, of learning from his mistakes, and of using his experiences to help others. He emphasized that while the past could not be changed, the future was still unwritten. He encouraged Ethan to focus on what he could control, his present choices and his future actions. Section 4. The Road to Redemption. Arthur's guidance was like a lifeline to Ethan. He began to see his past not as a mark of shame, but as a lesson learned. He realized that his journey to redemption started with accepting responsibility for his actions. With Arthur's encouragement, he reached out to those he had wronged, offering sincere apologies and seeking forgiveness. It was a long and arduous process, but with each step, Ethan felt a weight lifting from his shoulders. Arthur encouraged Ethan to find a purpose beyond himself. He suggested volunteering at a local community center, a place where Ethan could use his skills to make a tangible difference. Initially hesitant, Ethan found himself drawn to the idea of helping others. He started by offering business advice to young entrepreneurs, sharing his experiences, both good and bad, to guide them on their own journeys. Working with the community center reignited a sense of purpose within Ethan. He found fulfillment in helping others, in using his experiences to make a positive impact. He organized workshops, mentored struggling businesses, and dedicated himself to rebuilding his community. As he helped others, he found himself healing. The act of giving, of making amends for his past, filled him with a sense of peace he had never known before. Ethan's journey to redemption wasn't easy. There were days filled with doubt, when the weight of his past threatened to pull him back into despair. But with Arthur's unwavering support and the gratitude of those he helped, Ethan found the strength to keep moving forward. He learned that redemption wasn't about erasing the past, but about writing a new future, one defined by compassion, integrity, and a commitment to making amends. Section 5. Rebuilding a Life. Ethan's days became about small victories. He found a job at a local bookstore, finding solace in the written word. It was a far cry from his former life, but it was honest work, and it brought him a sense of peace. He started small, focusing on rebuilding his life one step at a time. He rented a modest apartment, finding comfort in its simplicity. He started taking long walks, reconnecting with the simple beauty of the world around him. He found solace in nature, in the changing seasons, in the rhythm of the waves crashing against the shore. He began to appreciate the small things, the things he had once taken for granted. He learned to find joy in the ordinary, in the everyday moments that make up a life. Gradually, Ethan began to rebuild his relationship with his children. It was a slow and delicate process, filled with apologies, forgiveness, and a shared desire to heal. He cherished the time he spent with them, making up for lost time. He attended their school plays, cheered at their soccer games, and listened intently as they shared their dreams and fears. Ethan's journey was a testament to the human spirit's ability to heal and to grow. He had stumbled and fallen, but he had risen again, stronger and wiser for the experience. He had learned that true success wasn't measured by wealth or status, but by the impact one has on others. He had found redemption not in erasing his past, but in using it as a catalyst for growth and positive change. Section 6. Extending a hand to others. Ethan continued his work at the community center, his dedication unwavering. He became a beacon of hope for others who had stumbled along life's path. He shared his story openly, his vulnerability resonating with those who had also faced their own demons. He became a living example that redemption was possible, that even from the ashes of failure, one could rise again. Ethan's story became a source of inspiration for the community. People were drawn to his honesty, his humility, and his unwavering commitment to helping others. He became a symbol of second chances, a testament to the power of redemption. His journey, once marked by despair, was now illuminated by hope, guiding others towards their own paths of healing and growth. Ethan's story had a ripple effect. inspiring others to extend a hand to those in need. The community rallied around the community center, offering support and resources. What started as a small endeavor blossomed into a thriving hub of activity, a testament to the transformative power of compassion and collective effort. Ethan had not only rebuilt his own life, but he had also played a pivotal role in rebuilding his community. Ethan never forgot the lessons he had learned. He continued to mentor others, sharing his story and offering guidance to those seeking redemption. He knew from experience that the road to redemption was not always easy, but he also knew that it was a journey worth taking. He had found his purpose in helping others find their way back from the brink, guiding them towards the light of hope and the promise of a brighter future. Section 7. The Bridge to a Brighter Future. Years later, Ethan stood on a bridge, the setting sun painting the sky in hues of gold and crimson. The river below flowed serenely, mirroring the peace he felt within. He thought about the journey that had brought him to this point, the falls, the struggles, and ultimately, the triumph of the human spirit. He was no longer defined by his past mistakes, but by the choices he had made to rise above them. He thought about Arthur, his mentor, his friend, the man who had shown him the path to redemption. Arthur was gone now, but his wisdom lived on through Ethan, guiding his actions and shaping his outlook on life. Ethan smiled, a deep sense of gratitude washing over him. He had been given a second chance, and he had made the most of it. He looked out at the horizon, the setting sun a symbol of hope and new beginnings. Life had a way of testing us, of pushing us to our limits. But it was in those moments of adversity that we discovered our true strength, our capacity for resilience, and our ability to rise above even the most daunting challenges. Ethan's story was a testament to this enduring human spirit, a beacon of hope for anyone who had ever stumbled along life's path. Ethan took a deep breath, the air filled with the promise of a new day. He had learned that life was a journey, not a destination. There would be challenges ahead, undoubtedly, but he was ready to face them, armed with the lessons he had learned and the unwavering belief that even in the darkest of times, hope could be found, redemption was possible, and the bridge to a brighter future was always within reach.